I've wanted to direct for a long time now. I started directing short films and skits many, many years ago for funnyordie.com. And to be honest, I was just a little scared to take the leap to doing a feature. But it just finally felt like the right time and the right project, and I co-wrote it with my buddy. I met Joe Swanberg while working on his series for Netflix called Easy, and Joe is one of the most collaborative people I've ever worked with. And so I really wanted to work with him on this one because his main strengths are character and relationships. And I guess our goal from the very beginning was, let's write a thriller where even if you take away the genre elements, it'll still be able to stand on its own as hopefully a compelling drama with an interesting storyline and characters that you're invested in. And then we use the horror elements to just kind of accentuate and heighten all of that craziness between the characters.
You know, in horror, there's like the archetypal kind of like, you know, cabin in the woods. And I think this is like a millennial's answer to that because it's something like an Airbnb situation. The vacation rental thing, it's just sort of become the norm of how people travel these days. And you're putting so much trust into a website, into a stranger's home, a stranger's review of that home. But it is sort of a funny thing to think about how crazy we can get today with having multiple passwords for all of our different websites and emails and phone and computer and things like that, and then being like, yeah, I'll stay in that stranger's house, no problem.
And these rental services do exist. This is not far-fetched that we, even though like we sometimes don't trust the people closest to us, we'll just like go into the homes of these strangers and we don't really know anything about them.
The paranoia about, you know, surveillance culture, the paranoia about, you know, this vacation rental culture of just being able to step into other people's lives and live in their shoes, sometimes literally, all of that sort of underpinning a very playful horror script.
This whole thing stemmed from my own paranoia about home sharing and thinking about the fact that the country is as divided as it's ever been and no one trusts each other, yet we trust staying in the home of a stranger because of a few positive reviews online. And there's all these real stories about homeowners who have cameras hidden throughout their houses. And on the flip side, it's like, how do we know who we're renting to? You know, what's keeping someone from renting a place, making copies of the key, and coming back at a later date to do whatever they want? And so it just felt like there was a lot to play with there. And, you know, the whole idea of home sharing, it's based on this trust of strangers that we don't really think about, but when you take a step back, it's like, oh man, like this is a crazy system, and very ripe for a horror movie. Yeah.
The house has very specific requirements, like being on a sheer cliff that drops straight into the ocean, having it, you know, architecturally be interesting and aspirational for the characters. So we looked everywhere. We looked through California, we looked through Oregon, we looked all the way up into Canada, we looked on the East Coast a little bit. And then when this house came in through a location scout that we'd hired, it just was the house straight out of Dave's dreams. Like when he saw it, it was such an exciting moment to see like, this is the house.
I've been loving working with Dave so much. I just think he's such a natural at directing. He has a really, really specific idea of what he wants.
I've been able to witness, even when he's acting in other projects, wanting to get very much involved in the vision of those films and really involved at every level in terms of its execution. So to see him finally at the helm and in control of all of that stuff, especially on a script that he's written, is very exciting.
He's got a great sensitivity to, you know, how actors like to work and like to be directed. And he's very specific in what he wants. The mood and the atmosphere he wants to create on screen is very clear, it's very much there.
I was kind of excited to explore a kind of, you know, genre film. I'd never really done that kind of thing before, and I felt that, you know, if I was gonna do it, this was a good one to do it on because it seemed so unassuming and grounded in reality until everything kind of goes haywire.
In general, why I was drawn to all four of these main actors is They're all very natural, grounded performers, which was really important to me because this movie, it takes place in reality. It's set in the world of home sharing, in this world that we all participate in. And the more real it feels, the scarier it's gonna be, where you want audiences to be watching and thinking like, oh man, this could happen to me next time I go on vacation.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
Charlie! Tell me that's not a camera.
Get through the night. We leave first thing in the morning.
What's going on?
I don't know.
This will be over soon, I promise.
This will never be over.
Look, this is not okay, Charlie, all right? Stop being so calm.
Everything is fine.